Okay, hey everyone. So in this video, blog post, whatever you want to call it, we're going to talk about how do I get some information from Box where I want to find all the documents that appear in a particular folder, but specifically get the metadata behind those because that's where people are going to be writing some important information that our workflow will potentially need to grab and do something with. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to have a metadata field on our documents that's called expiration date. So I'm going to just pop into this box environment here. And here I have a folder called Twilio with 3 documents in there. And if I have a look at one of these documents, you'll actually see down the bottom here, under custom metadata, I created a field called expiration date, and I just typed in 12/1/2018. And it's going to be different for all the different documents that we have here. They'll have different expiration dates. So how do we get that information into our workflow? So this is going to be just an example of how to do it. It's not going to be a workflow that you're going to be able to just download and use straight away. It's really more of an idea that you would then use in some other workflow that you're building out. So this workflow, all it does is just has a blank form. That's what's going to cause this workflow to start. Now you'll see here we get this get folder contents. Now I have done this, I've been very lazy here. I've selected my connection, I've got my path, and then I'm storing the item names and the item paths into collection variables, right? Basically arrays of data. What I haven't done is I haven't looked at the is folder uh, field or just actually store that information, because that's actually an important one, because what I want to do is actually process only documents. So it's probably not a bad idea if I was to get that as well. And let's say, look, we've got some time here. Let's create a variable and actually do that. We'll do that really quickly. We'll just say collection is folder, like that. And then we'll actually say Boolean is folder, and it's going to be a Boolean, right? Set to no by default. Okay, done. Close. And I'm going to select the is folder collection. Perfect. All right, so that's easy enough. Now, the first thing we do is we're going to iterate through one of these collections. So now we have 3 collections in here: names, paths, and is folder. So this one here is going through item names. We're storing, each time we go through this, we're going to store the value in a variable called text item name, and we're also storing the index. Right, so let's rename this and just go for each item name. So it could be file name, whatever you want to name it. Now we have this get item from collection action, and this is looking at the paths, item paths collection to pull out the item path from the same index, because all these collections are all going to be the same size, so we can pull out the corresponding values from each one of those. So I'm going to rename this. I'm going to say item path from collection, and then I'm going to copy and paste this into here, and I'll rename this and go is folder, and we'll change that to the is folder, and we're going to store that in Boolean is folder. Perfect. So now I'm going to add a little bit of, well, actually, let's explain what we're doing here. Then we have this action. So for every item we find, we're going to use this get file metadata action, and it's going to look in the same location, except this time we're pulling in the actual path. So we're saying at this location, I want to pull out this specific piece of information. I don't really care about any of this stuff at the moment. What I do care about is right down the bottom, under custom metadata, I've added expiration date, and I'm storing it in text data. Now, I'm storing it in text data because even though I typed in a date into the custom metadata field in Box, there's no concept of a type there. So it's just basically text. So what I'm doing is just storing it in some text, because as you can see, I don't have an option to store it in any other type of variable. So we're storing it in text for now. Then what we're doing is we're applying a regular expression. So there's my field or my data. There's my regular expression pattern, which is the date. And I'm going to store it in my date variable called date expiration. And right, the last action here is we're just logging the name of the file and the expiration date that we pulled out of the custom metadata. So apply regular expression is really cool in that it's able to extract data from a piece of text and store it in any number of different types of variables. In this case, it's going to pull that out and store it in a date. So just to add one little bit, because we've done this get is folder, we're going to add a runif. And we're going to say if, and where is it? Is folder is equal to no. I know this is going to sound like a little bit of backwards logic here, but basically we're saying if it's not a folder, click on add condition because I always forget to do that, we want to do this. So we only want to do this for files. Okay, easy enough. Publish this. And what's going to happen is I'm going to get a little link to a form. So there's my confirmation for my publishing. Publish this workflow, a little pop-up will come up with a link to the form right there. I'm going to open it up in a new tab. There's no fields I have to fill in because this is just for testing, just kind of proof of concept. Click on submit. All right, now while that's happening, I'm going to go back to instances in my Nintex Workflow Cloud environment, and you'll see it's 355 down there. We have a workflow in progress. I'm going to pop in there, and let's have a look at how far we got. And you see we've pulled out one item, output text, and it's got December the 1st, 2018. So if I go to right there, whoops, no, that's not what I want to click on, right here, and go view details, there it is, December 1st, 2018. Perfect. If I go back to the instance history or the workflow instance history and refresh it, it's probably completed by now. Yep. I've got my Twilio audio.txt, which is November the 1st, and we have our Twilio audio.xml, which is February the 1st of 2019. So there you go. That's how easy it was to build this little bit of logic out. So if you need to do something like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my dashboard here. I'm going to find my workflow, which is this box metadata date parsing workflow. I'm going to click on the little ellipsis on the end here, and I'm going to click on export, and I'll export this workflow. Right, there we go. There's my key, right? So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to share that in this blog post. So if you guys want to play around with it, you can import it into your environment. For those who haven't done it before, just go up here, click on import, paste in the key, give it a name, whatever you want to do, and click on import, and there you go. You will probably need to change it a little bit to point to your box connector, but it's pretty straightforward to do. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to post any comments at the bottom of this blog post or reach out to me directly. Thanks for your time, everybody.